Hey you guys, we're back, A to Z hair cutting. Today what we're going to do is a crew cut and then follow it through right into a fade. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff I'm going to show you today. Everything is review. Pretty much everything we're going to do today we've already talked about. So I'm going to be using a clipper to do it. I'm going to show you the comb. But I got some good news for you. I'm teaching right now. That was the delay. And first of all, I have to apologize. When I did my grandson's haircut, and a lot of people have been watching it, we want to apologize for the dirty mirror. I mean, it was like, oh my God, do we even show this? The mirror was, had water speckles from the shampoo bowl being right there. But we thought, you know what, we're not here to impress you, we're here to teach you. Forgive us for the dirty mirror, but I hope you got something on the haircut. We talked about the parietal line quite a bit. We did the 180, front to back. And we showed you the whys on that, why we do that. But anyways, we wanted to apologize for the dirty mirror. And now we're just gonna, back to the mannequins. I do have some good news for you though. Because my students are learning from home, and I do teach the freshman students, there's gonna be a strong possibility that we're going to add, for instance, how to do a foil weave on the A to Z hair cutting, how to do a proper perm wrap on this hair cutting video and stuff. So if you want to get that information, my recommendation, please order a mannequin. When I teach the foil weaving, we don't teach it with color or gel. You start learning that with water. Go to Sally's, pick up a box of the foils. I'll show you how to cut them. I'll show you how to measure, all that stuff. So we're going to incorporate that. Since I have to do it anyways, since I have to video it, maybe you should benefit. All right, so we're going to get started real quick. The comb that I'm going to use, I have the option, either this comb or this comb. And you can see I got a tooth broken there. I've got a whole set of them. I couldn't find them right now because I've got all of my school stuff in here, working off of a laptop. But either one works. Either one will do it. The reason that I like this one is because it's perfectly flat. And the other one is slightly rounded. Either way, it's funny, one's great clips, one's super cuts. Wow, fight. Anyways, I'm going to use this one just because I like it better. You can get them at Sally's. Again, you're going to hold it with your fingertips so you can manipulate it. Start practicing that. When you pick it up, practice turning it. You're not going to do this and twist your whole body around. The only reason I would here is because I'm trying to show you on video. So I'm going to start up my clipper, and you saw my other clipper. This one's going to bog down a bit. So I'm being very careful not to touch the hair as I do this. Parietal line to tip of the ear. The angle is the same. See, this one fights. My other Oster, and this is an Oster clipper as well, but they don't have an electric motor. So you see where it's slightly layered. I did some highlights on this mannequin before because it makes it hard to see. So you saw that I only brought that up so far, okay? Even though we had this tip of the ear to parietal line, I'm going to do it again. I hope you can see it. I'm going to go this way so you can see it. Because the angle is the same, it doesn't matter. But my other 76 Oster, man, it would just cut right through that, wouldn't even argue. But you see where this still comes right down, and the reason for that is this corner. Here is your why. This corner then becomes this corner. Now you know why. Now you know the geometry behind it. I want to get rid of this little tang right here, and what is that? That's the sideburn area. So I'm only going to take it so far. I'm going to pick it up. And I can see a bunch of little lengths right there. I don't know whether you can see them or not, but I'm going to take the length that is closest to it and take it off. Now I want to get that corner, so I'm only going to take it. See that lighter hair right there? That's where I'm carving it out, and that's what it's called. It's called carving it out. Do you notice the comb is flat to the head? When we were up here, the comb was at an angle, slight angle. When we're at the bottom, because I'm taking that off, so again, we're doing that same curve motion that we do with the clipper. I'm going to do this cut pretty fast, so, all right, so that's close to where I want it right now. I'm going to take this, from the lower nape line, the area behind the ear. If you're not exactly familiar again with the terms, please take our introduction class. I have to be careful here because I'm in really tight quarters and I don't want to trip. That would be an event, wouldn't it? Anyways, so I'm using that previously cut hair as my guide. Notice that I'm holding it when I'm down at the perimeter line the same way I did at the perimeter line here. The comb is flat to the head, flat but still at an angle. You can have it at an angle and still at an angle again when you travel up into the interior. If you want to get the terms, you really need to, oops, I'm going to go the other way, look at our intro tape, because these are the terms that we're using as we teach. And what I'm doing is I'm just laying that clipper. That's what I like about this comb, see? I'm not worried about hitting the head. I'm laying that clipper right on the comb only. So I'm just picking it up, and this is just basically review, taking a crew cut into a fade. So when they have long hair like this, would you just go right into the fade? Yes, but I want to do a little bit of review for you. I want you to see what it does. All right, now what we've done here, we've taken it at a slight angle, right aligned the tip of the ear only. We did not go beyond that. Now we're at the nape. We're starting at the corner nape, traveling up to the nape line only. So you're going to see that nape line. That's another reason I'm doing it on this head, because I want you to see the shaping of the nape line. And again, I'm traveling down because I want to get rid of that corner and slightly round this out a bit. Okay, there it is. That's what I've been doing. That's all that is. So you see where that nape line is coming in. Now I want you to see this one here. I crossed over. I'm going to cross over the center nape. This hair right here is my guide. Again, notice the comb is at an angle, but yet flat. I should just use my other clipper, but you guys will probably be using something like this. So I'd rather show you on the stuff that you're going to be using, so you can become familiar and not wonder why didn't that turn out. Now, notice how it's just layered, perfectly layered into that. That's what's nice about these combs, instead of trying to take your hands and doing that yourself. Okay, I'm going to turn him around here. Hang on, I got to tie him up here. He's coming loose. So I sectioned him off at the parietal line. So he's sectioned off at the parietal line all the way around. All right, so you cut, comb, cut, comb. I'm only going to the area right there behind the ear. I'm only working the flat part of the head. Tip of the ear to parietal line. Take it out. How do I know the length? Right now I'm just taking stuff off. We're not determining length at this point. And your clipper will make noise, because these clippers, even with the Oster clipper, they're not as strong as the other one. Stupid hair trying to come down on me, create problems. All right, now again we have this corner. I'm going to just go right here, take that corner off, and you can see that line coming right in. Again, do you see where this is squared off? That's because of this square right here. Whenever you take it to a certain focal point, you're going to get that. Those are your whys. It's not just cutting to cut, it's cutting to teach. All right, so I'm going to turn him around. We're going to come back to the back nape, and I do have a guide. See, my guide is right there. That last hair cut is my guide. So I'm just going to, and remember, this is experience, you guys. You'll get it. The best thing to do when you're cutting, go longer, because you can always take it off. This is why I teach you this way too. You can always take it off. You just can't put it back once it's gone. So don't try and go in and fade it into this. Take it a little bit at a time. Okay, and again, you see the corner there, but let me clean it all the way up. We're still following what was that line right there, coming up to the nape. get rid of this corner. Now look at the way I lay the comb down to just get rid of that corner. So you can see, and all I want is just that tiny bit right there. Do you see how we've crossed over and created a corner? Definitely center corner there. So we're going to bring it up both sides and take it off. Now we have rounded that out and literally shaped our nape line. I'm going to bring this down. Like I said, this cut's going to go fast because in just a little bit you're going to see me really cutting into it. As soon as this thing stops fighting me, lets me get this clippy off. So now that hair underneath, this is my guide, but I am going to direct it up to the tip of the ear to cut it, and you're going to see some extreme layered lines. There's the tip of the ear, cutting it down into now the center nape. See, these clippers just don't do. You saw what that Oster did with my grandson's hair. I mean, and he's got enough hair for 36 people. You haven't seen that, look it up on our A to Z hair cutting. Again, we're going to cross over, and you can see that coming in to that nice layered look. Again, a corner is being created because we cross over. I'm going to do it the opposite direction for you to see it. I can see my guide. There's my guide right there, and I'm coming to it. Okay, and I'll just get rid of the corner here. And again, we've created another corner right there. So this side, that side, those are your guides. You're going to hold the comb, and it gets a little bit more difficult. Just parallel, look at the way the comb is held, just a slight angle. Slight angle into that. And I never use my clipper on wet hair. I may use it on damp hair, but it's just going to dull those blades even more. Okay, I'm not going to do anything with the top yet because I want to show you what the fade looks like. So I'm going to put a number 2 guard on this, and we're just going to come up to the lower ridge. And then we're going to take it to a 0 to the lower ridge. So, brace, always brace, and we are going to carve out. We're not going to go straight up this time. We're going to carve out. So I'm going to take it to the lower ridge and carve out. If your clipper does that, don't worry. That's just kind of stroke it back and forth like I'm doing this one. So again, up to the lower ridge at the nape. And if you know where the lower ridge is at, you don't have any problems carving back out. That's why I told you, look at haircuts. Look at to see if you can see the lower ridge on some of those cuts that you see out there. Okay, this is going to go kind of fast. So we have about 15 minutes left, so we're halfway done with the cut. Well, actually more than halfway. Okay. I may use my Oster clipper on the next one because this thing just makes it take longer. My 76. But see, these are not motor driven. The 76 actually has a little motor inside of it, which makes it really a really strong clipper. Oops, I'm glad that didn't fall on the floor. Again, just up to the lower ridge. Up to the lower ridge. Now you begin to see where it's rounded, where you can see that slightly layered, carved out look. Okay, I'm going to bring this hair down so I can cut into it. Remember, we have a guard in it right now too, so that kind of affects it. But you can see just an ever so slight layering in there. Okay, I'm going to take the guard off. Now this is the reason I do it with the guard first, and I want you to do it with the guard first. That's a number 2 guard, by the way, Oster. The reason I do it with the guard first is because I want you to see the cut. You can't just go in and cut and know how to do it without seeing the actual cut. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to put it down so this goes up, and this is a number 1. And then right at the lower ridge, carve out, carve out, carve out, carve out into it. And see how much, look at how much faster this is going, because I know where the lower ridge is at. I'm not guessing. Now when you get to the area of the ear, shift your clipper over, and all you're going to use is this part of your clipper right here. This part right here. So watch how that, again I'm bracing and I'm just traveling around the ear. Now what I tell you about having that perfect half circle, place it on your hand or your finger and just move it in a half circle. When you're trying to do it by yourself, it becomes more difficult. Okay, that's creating a nice line for me, but I gotta get in there, and I can't stretch the skin because mannequin skin does not stretch and his ears are kind of hard. So I'm getting in there with it. Okay, so you can see, nice fade. Now, real quick, now I'm gonna rest the clipper flat on his head. I'm gonna hold the other hair out of the way and making sure that I'm coming straight up. I'm not curving around the head. This is landing straight up on that head form. All right? Now I want to truly show you what I'm doing here. Let me get this mannequin here. And this bald mannequin really helps you see it a little better. Do you see the head form? I want to make sure can we see it all right, cameraman? Okay, that way? Okay. So I want you to see the head form and look at where the clipper leaves the head. Do you see what I'm saying? The clipper is leaving the head. The cutting blade is no longer on there, but it's still cutting the hair. That's what a fade is about. You don't want to take it all the way. You don't want to curve around, in other words. So I'm going to take this straight up, and now I'm within about a ½ inch away from the parietal line. But you can see that because of that, and again, and his ears are right in the middle of the way. Because of that, you can see it. You can see that fade haircut from a crew cut, and all we do is take it up higher, just a little bit higher. But you noticing and understanding the intricacies. Now, what I want you to notice, see where the lower ridge is here? Do you see where the lower ridge travels down a bit on right at the occipital, right at the crown area? It doesn't stay way up in this area. It slightly travels down because the head, your why is the head inverts in this area. This area here, it doesn't invert until it gets beyond the parietal line. So the crown itself starts creating that curve. So there's your why on that. So I'm going to take it up. And again, I'm not going in, I'm just going straight up on it. I'm going to take this off here. And I'm doing this pretty quick. Our classes are only 30 minutes, you know that already. We don't go beyond that. Now I'm digging in here, but being very careful. You see, it doesn't matter because I've got this pulled down, but when you have a zero, you don't want to create that line in there. So you want to travel around it and then come straight up. And if you know where the parietal line is at, you won't have a problem with it. Now I did foil weave this. On some of it I just did straight lines, and when I do my foil weave class you'll understand it. Now take notice that when I'm going with the clipper like this as well, it's not cutting all the hair. It's cutting only the hair at the bottom, this part of the clipper. The rest of it is away from the head form itself. So understanding that concept becomes extreme when you get ready to do clipper work. Alright, now the area at the back, the crown, is kind of driving me nuts a little bit here. Like I said, this is going to be fast. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it at a 0, so I bring it up. I'm going to take it, but notice that I'm holding the comb straight away. I'm letting the comb do the work for me. Can you see that, cameraman, that that comb is pulled away from there? Do I need to turn the head? Nope. All right. Now what I'm going to do, and you can come straight up if you want. I usually just go across. So see, now the comb is doing the work for me. For the same thing that the clipper was doing it, the comb is being held away from the head, so therefore I'm not cutting that hair above that. Okay. Now real quick, what I want to show you is the top. And the other day I showed you how to do a corner right here at the eye. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to part it off. You want to part it, look at the hair growth, look at the direction that it grows. And that's the big factor as far as what direction it grows. And I told you guys, if you part it off, I'm going to take it just above, just right at the apex line, all the way to the vertex. And I'm going to hold it straight up. Now remember, the head, the top of the head realistically is slightly rectangular formed. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking it, just take your time, but this is going to be quick. Taking it to the back crown here. I'm letting that other hair drop because I'm doing, that's going to be our part line. So I'm taking it to the back corner of our part line. What I want you to notice in this corner, and look at it on your mannequin. This corner at the parietal line is going to travel farther than these two to the same location. That's going to then, when I bring it to the center, and I'm just going to do it with a clipper. I can do it with a shear, but okay, I'm stuck here. Okay, I'm just going to take it, depending on what I want. I'm going to give you a little bit longer V right there for now. You can take it right to the parietal line. You can take it to the lower ridge. It depends on what you want. So now when this comes down, all right, I am going to clean up the back, but you can definitely see, again, that point. So if I'd have taken it shorter, you see that corner would fit. Usually they want it right up here by the eye. So you would take it maybe up to the apex, like right at the corner of the apex, so that it falls down right there. But that's how you create that corner. Now I'm going to take the rest of this back here and clean it up to blend. We're just going to go with the natural fall of the head. But you see there's a definite corner there. So I'm going to bring this back again. And I'm just going to take it to the apex, again taking it to a point. Because remember, this travels farther. It's down here. All right? And this is where they want the corner, right above the eye. And then, let me get this fixed here. Hang on a minute. There. All right. May as well take the time to get it fixed. I'm just going to take it off. I'm turning it the wrong way for you to see because I want to hurry up and do this cut. And then you'll see that that corner now is a little bit higher. So it's up to you on where you want it. So the natural fall of the hair, and some guys want this, that corner is also going to help to create the pompadour. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the hair, get rid of those long pieces, and I'm going to pick up the hair straight up. All right, I'm picking it straight up, but I'm not going beyond the frontal fringe area. Frontal fringe is going to stay out of the way. Remember, the frontal fringe is a pie shaping. So I'm going to take this straight up, and I'm going to cut it front to back. Now, are you seeing this cut front to back still? I'm going to make sure you guys see that. I've got about 5 minutes left. You see, if you know where you're at and you know where you're going, now this is going to be where the hair is parted. So I'm going to take that up. Let me turn. Oh, I should just loosen that thing. So I want to make sure you see this, so that we aren't just talking jibber jabber jibber jabber. All right, you see this? There's your fringe area. We're not taking this side to the parietal line because we're going to create a part right here. If you're not going to create a part, then you would take it to the parietal line. But that's his hair part, in other words. So there's your corner that he wants. He wants that corner coming down. That corner is also going to work great for a pompadour after we get it wet and comb it back. So it's got a dual purpose. So I'm going to take now this side and match it up. Did it again. My cord keeps getting caught underneath my stand. Okay, so I've got my guide. You see it? So if I take it straight up, here are my options. I can just leave that alone. You see what I mean? Now I do have a corner again, and that corner comes again from the perimeter line right here. You can clean that up. I'm going to bring this straight up, holding the comb flat. Straight up. There's my guide. I can see my guide. Get those long hairs out of there. And then if I want to, I can take this hair up to that faded area, or I can let it hang over. What do you want as a finish? See, these are a multitude of options that we have now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take it up, and I held the comb perfectly straight next to the head. So slightly bowl cut-ish looking like. So I don't want that. So I'm going to take this up, take it a little shorter, and layer it a bit. Now when I get up to the front, to get rid of this corner right here, which is that, I'm going to pick that up, bring it back, cut it straight across, and just gently. It's always best to go slow than it is to go fast. And I'm just going to travel. I'm not going to cut anything on that area. So I want to come up here to the center apex. I am going to still do it front to back. I have a guide. Front to back. And I have a corner again. You see the corner? So I want to get rid of it. That's all I'm taking off. You can see that. And it's gone. So some of the things that can be done with this is a fade haircut. You can still take it up even more and fade up even more. All right? So I have 30 seconds left. What we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to show you how to style this, and we'll see you in a little bit. Take care.